the heck happened to AC Milan? You see, things change. Nothing ever remains the same, and I get it. You see, growing up, when you mentioned the name AC Milan, it meant something. It meant a little something. It meant something. You know, before I did this video, I was even thinking to myself that one of the first jerseys I owned, that had a name at the back, I believe was a George Weah AC Milan jersey. Because I think the first few jerseys that I owned was, I think, an AC Milan jersey and an Ajax jersey. Like, I was like super young. But I think one of the first jerseys I owned was a George Weah AC Milan jersey because, again, as a Nigerian, George Weah was a big thing based on a fellow African doing what he was doing on the world stage. So AC Milan was a big deal. And then whether it's Kaka, Shevchenko, Seedorf, Pirlo, Maldini, Costa Corta, Nesta, I mean, the names, you can reel off all the freaking names. Bro, Dino AC Milan era was not that bad. It was not that bad. It wasn't basketball, was not that bad. But AC Milan, that jersey exuded brilliance. It exuded an air of superiority. There was fear when you saw that jersey. Fast forward to 2024, heading into 2025. He had to go. And I think they had a little bump, a nice little thing, and I think probably the highlights of his career was that result against Real Madrid, which was an amazing result. Great performance, an amazing result. But the consistency just wasn't there. And the results were just not there. And especially for a club of AC Milan's stature, it simply wasn't there. You know. And I think for so long, let's be real, like Inter were always in and about. But you know, I'll tell you something very funny. You know, if we compare Inter and AC, Inter were never this bad. Inter were never down bad as this, as where AC Milan are right now. So even when AC Milan were winning all those series and they were top of the table and everything, Inter were still in and around. You know, so shout out to you, the era of Nazario, of Zamorano, and all those dudes. They were still in and around. And I think Jokaev played for them as well. But you see, Fonseca, you can't defend this. You can't defend this. You can do eighth. And remember, Bozo FC have a game in hand. Bozo FC, so that is 8 points. So I think, that is 8 points. So they are 8 points off of the top of UCL qualification. And Bozo, sorry. So 8 points clear, but Milan don't have a game in hand. So Milan have a game in hand. But still, 8 points off the top of the table. And let's keep it real. Those 5 teams are doing very well. All those 5 teams are doing very, very well indeed. So, but seeing this image of AC Milan in 8th position is insane. When you just know the stature of the club. And they're falling because right now, I'm sorry, like, you're going into a UCL. Oh my gosh, we're playing AC Milan. You know, that boom, okay, it's AC Milan. Right now, UCL, AC Milan, they ain't fared. They're simply not fair. They're simply not what they used to be. You know, and I don't think things change. So you say to yourselves that, is he going to change things? Now, I do believe this is an upgrade. I'm Fonseca, so an upgrade. So Sergio Conceicao, and I remember, my favorite tournament was, one of my favorite tournaments is Euro 2000. And the reason, again, shout out to the jersey behind me, you know, the reason one of my favorite players is Figo is because of that Portugal team. And I loved that team. That team was amazing because you had Figo, you had Japinso, you had Rui Costa, and I believe Conceicao was also in that team. I think Conceicao was actually in that team. He was in the team. So it was an amazing team, superb team, and crazy game against France. And he's been a pretty good manager. And he did a pretty good job with FC Porto. And someone that's very interesting. So his son, I believe Francisco Conceicao, he plays for Juventus. So this is an upgrade, and I do believe that he's going to bring in more better structure, better discipline, and just better coaching, better managing. Keyword: better managing. Bringing in his experience from what he did with FC Porto, and I do believe that he has better tools at his disposal. Whether it's Reinders, who's quality player. Shout out to the Dutch boys. Pulisic, Leao, and all these dudes, and Hernandez. So there is quality in this team. And I think that the quality in this team is better than eighth. It's better than eighth. But the question is, can Conceicao take AC Milan back to where they should be, which is at the top of the freaking tree and amongst one of the best teams in the world? That is my question for Conceicao, And you see, the Milan team of old, like this was just too much talent. I mean, you had Kaka, who was a generational talent, Pirlo, who is an all-time talent, Maldini, who's an all-time talent, Nesta, who's an all-time talent. So you have Seedorf, who's a generational talent. So you have so many generational all-time players in that team. And I look at this current Milan team, and are there any? Leao should be a generational, but he's not really hit those heights yet. Outside of Leao, I don't think there are any generational all time. Well, I'll give you your boy. I'll give you a boy Maignan. Maignan, I believe, is a generational talent. Not all time. I believe it's generational. So outside of Maignan and Leao, how many generational guys do they have? And they have no all time guys. Shouts to Trump. Shouts to Donny T. We're not putting Steve Rogers in as either generational or all time. We're not doing that. Shout out to Steve Rogers though. So it is unfortunate that I'm like, well, this is AC Milan, who have had some of the best players ever. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, what kind of quality do they have? And yes, with all due disrespect, you cannot go from George Weah, Filippo Inzaghi, Andrei Shevchenko to Alvaro freaking Morata. That is an insane downgrade. That is an insane downgrade. Okay? Guys, name me a greater downgrade than that. Name me a greater downgrade than that. I don't think you can. So that's just the reality there, man. That's just the reality there. But good luck to Conceicao. And the thing about it is this: it's going to be tough to make top four, because Serie is very, very competitive this season. And the thing about it is that everybody can beat everybody. I still feel Inter are the best team, and if Inter get their act together, Inter should win this league. But Inter have a job at their hands, and I think Conceicao coming into this season right now, he knows that they can't win the league. It's impossible. Like those, between Atalanta, Napoli, and Inter, they're going to be too good. So the aim is, can you get into that fourth position? And Fiorentina and Bozo FC, they're going to be hard to go ahead. So I think for Conceicao, I think the key thing is hoping for a new manager bounce, bring in new ideas, better ideas, effective ideas. But I think the key thing for Conceicao is, can you get the best out of? I think Reinders is amazing. He has just been super consistent. Can you get the best out of Leao and Pulisic? Because those are the two explosive talents that can pretty much make Milan be interesting. So I think it is really about, okay, look, try and just get the best out of Leao and Pulisic to try to get that top four and try to do something in the UCL. Like, they can't win the UCL. I don't think they have the players to win the UCL, because I think to win the UCL, yes, you need great coaching, great management, great team, but you do need those explosive individuals. And I don't think they have enough of those explosive individuals for them to answer what's up in the UCL. But maybe they could do something interesting. But I think the key thing is just to do better than what that bum as Fonseca was doing. And if I was saying to Conceicao, I would say to him that this is AC Milan. Again, with all due respect to FC Porto, this is a level up. And this is a club with a huge, massive, rich history. And I would hope that for Conceicao, you don't just come here to be like, oh, let me just do better than Fonseca, just improve. Yeah, do better than Fonseca, but have a wider view of like, I want to take AC Milan back to where they should be, amongst the best teams in the world. That is my ultimate. So maybe my aim just for this season is improvement, but my 2, 3, 4 year plan is I want AC Milan to be seated right next to Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Chelsea. That's where I want them to be, and that's where I believe that they should be, and they should be there, 100%. Like the video, subscribe. Peace. Think about becoming a Football Hut member. If you're a desktop merchant, just click on the join button below, over here. Or if you're a mobile phone merchant, just click on the join button below the video over here and join the true elite content crack addicts. Peace.